Welcome back to Asura's Wrath, and now we start the episode with, well, Asura's consciousness. Remember, he was passing out at the end of the previous episode.
So is Ansem going to come and bring him to Castle Oblivion?
Well,
Don't you
I
mean?
would say there's a metaphor
Alright.
for it.
I was going to say, don't you mean Looker?
And yes, in this cutscene we can actually, oh no, well, we can move the camera in all the cutscenes. What am I talking
I
about?
thought you'd have gotten that Pokemon reference.
Oh, I did get the Pokemon reference. I was just
Basically-
wondering why you were referencing Looker for this.
Basically, Asura is
Looker's Japanese name is Handsome.
Asura is thinking of what happened so
Oh.
far and the morality of his actions. Basically, all the people already killed, advertently and inadvertently.
So Detective Looker shares the same name as a masked megalomaniac who's threatening the lives of all Disney worlds in Final Fantasy.
And yes, the spider is so unsubtle that let the blade flow through you.
Wait, Unleash Your Rage? Did the people who write the Black and White 2 trailer do this?
Hey, Dweebs,
Yeah?
unleash your disc.
Wow, he's actually going to try and control his temper for once.
Say what Webs. Say what you want about Azura's Wrath, but at least Azura's Wrath has more of a vision than fucking Monster Rancher.
He's referring to the anime drama, by the way.
Well, I never played the games, so
No,
We'll
no,
get to those eventually.
I mean, it doesn't inspire me all that much confidence, considering pretty much any Mon collecting game released back in those days was always pretty crap. Anyway.
Monster Rancher. Unless you're talking about Monster Hunter. Wait, which is it? Monster Hunter or Monster Rancher?
Monster
Rancher.
Rancher.
Oh! Oh, God. You mean the one with that annoying yellow eye character?
Yeah, I swear so.
Mike Wazowski, yeah.
Anyway, basically Asura now is fully awake and now completely back in force, so he's gonna go directly to Deus Palace to kick some ass.
No, Asura, you're meant to put your hand in the pattern of the hook, not high-five.
That's the thing.
So he literally punched himself into the ground to launch him into the air.
Yes, that's actually how he jumps.
Physics? What the fuck are those?
Well, to be fair, it's not too different from how Thor, throws his hammer to throw himself across.
Alright. So he actually comes back to the palace. Yeah, the first one thing I have to give to the game is that this final section of the main game is a bit rushed. Not in a sense that there's fighting. I know what you mean, but that wasn't the point. The point is that there are clearly some pieces missing, and the story concludes itself too fast. Like here in this case, Asura jumps immediately back to the Shinto's palace without finding any kind of resistance whatsoever. That's a bit fishy.
Oh, but Tio, now we got the true DLC ending.
Oh god damn it. But anyway, I guess that's a
Oh
good
yeah,
time to
that's true.
point this out.
I remember.
Alright, yeah, I'm actually getting to it, Pedro. Basically, the game, if you don't remember, had a really troubled development cycle. After it was first announced, CyberConnect 2 was getting too much time to cook in this turkey, mostly because they were thinking about the story first during concept art and then designing the gameplay around it. That means that the story concepts and places, scenarios came first, and then the gameplay and its mechanics, rendering, all this stuff came after. That's also why there's so much emphasis on cutscenes and everything and QTs. So Capcom at some point decided to go full EA Activision and say, okay, you need to finish this game on this headline. So CyberConnect 2 decided, alright, we need to wrap things up, and the stuff that we couldn't implement, we'll make a sequel out of it. However, initial sales, while the reviews were very positive, the initial sales were not exactly as both CyberConnect 2 actually and Capcom weren't expecting. I mean, it's not a situation like Square Enix where they wanted like 10 million or something. But still, the game couldn't appear, especially because of how unique it was. So basically, Capcom said, "Okay, guys, if you want to, we will not greenlight a sequel at least for now." So they basically said, if you want to implement any kind of remaining story, make it for DLC, or we will leave the game as it is. So they basically, instead of actually leaving the game open-ended, they actually prefer doing a DLC conclusion, which backfired spectacularly because people actually thought it was cut content from the main game, so later just for the sake of money, instead of actually the result of a travel development cycle. But hey, it was a time where shitting on Capcom was the norm, so everyone thought it was okay to do it.
For a bit of context, when this got announced, the idea of a true ending through paid DLC was unheard of practically at the time. Well, for video.
It was already done a couple of times, but not in this kind of way. For example, Prince of Persia 2008 had one.
Well, yeah. The difference being like, well, this was such an integral one, and one that no one saw coming. It's like, at least with other examples, they weren't so much as talked of. Partly because, some we saw them coming in other cases, they weren't paid for.
Question, is it as bad as 13.2?
No. Okay.
It's actually really awesome, believe me.
No, I mean in terms.
I
mean in terms of how
controversy.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Actually, it's not. See, okay, it's kind of a common misconception that it was just money grubbing. It turns out that this was kind of just the devs having stuff at the wrong place, wrong time. However, I will admit it was stupid to kind of make that true ending paid DLC. But aside from that, there was no really bad intentions behind this.
And in case you're wondering, the DLC is actually conclusive. In terms of sequel baiting, there is like an extra interlude at the very end, but it's more of a joke and an Easter egg than anything, so it's not supposed to be taken seriously. The game is strictly conclusive on its own and ends on its own note, which we'll see.
Yeah. So yeah, while this was technically the first big time this was ever noticed and talked about, it may actually sadly be the most noble, quote unquote.
And basically it made a mistake of coming at the wrong time and the worst moment possible.
Capcom.
Well, for both companies,
and in 2012. Basically,
because that was back when
Capcom.
That was back when people.
Hold on, Dwibs. Let Tia finish.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. First about the cutscene. Basically, if you remember, in the animated DLC episode, we saw Yascha fighting Deus, and there you go. That's actually what happened. If you play the game normally, you would just see him popping out, and you didn't know what actually happened. The DLC basically explained what he was doing.
So this was back when people thought Capcom had mistreated KG and Inafune rather than the other way around.
Yeah, not just that, Dweebs. Basically, starting from end of 2010, beginning of 2011, Capcom entered its most dark age because starting with Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
And then Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah. But basically, Capcom started making bad decisions over bad decisions at the worst moment possible, and people started really being pissed off at them.
Here's the thing, Dwibs. You know how Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is a thing? Well, before Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, there was an actual Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was essentially a re-release at full price of Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Well, not really full price, Joe. It was still $40, not 60. But the problem is, it was announced literally like 4 months after the release of a vanilla version, which is nothing. It was really nothing. The problem is, it was supposed to be actual DLC content of the vanilla release, but stuff like the 2011 tsunami in Japan happened. So the devs kind of got in a bad spot because of this.
How are you hoping Infinite's gonna?
I'm positive Infinite will be treated better.
My main hope is that they don't do the same thing they do in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
I'm fully expecting still DLCs because it's a practice common nowadays for games anyway. But considering how Capcom actually learned from his lessons, I'm positive it will be treated better.
My main
But
hope
anyway,
is...
fighting Deus,
sorry.
yay.
Goody.
So basically, again, as teased in the previous episode, now we have a 2 versus 1 fight, both Asura and Yascha against Deus. Now, here you only control Asura, and Yascha basically helps you as an NPC, but you can do some tag team moves.
I love how Azura's just now getting in on the whole saving the world thing as opposed to
No,
just...
but he's a bit sooner. He doesn't want to save the world, just want to save his daughter. He just saves the world in the process.
Go figure.
By the way,
Yes, Lives?
what versions of Infinite are you guys going to get? PS4 for me if
PS4.
I decide to get it.
PS4 and or
PS4.
PC, hoping for crossplay.
Pedro?
I don't know about crossplay. I mean, that would mean Sony and Microsoft would have to get along, and that's kind of...
Well, the game is already coming to Steam, so... And Xbox One, so...
Well, that's kind of the problem, Joe.
Oh,
Anyway,
right.
First, let me explain this fight, then I'll tell you. Basically, you're fighting Deus now. It's actually surprisingly really easy in this phase. Again, as I mentioned, you have the tag team moves, and yeah, she's still constantly doing hell. However, Deus in true, I would say he's almost a Kingdom Hearts-esque boss because he has this huge area of attacks that almost impedes to you to reach him, and you see him also in later fights. But basically, Jova, remember a thing: Microsoft, when it comes to the Xbox One, is really not into crossplay. The reason why Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn was not released on the Xbox One was because Square Enix wanted crossplay at all costs, and Microsoft didn't want it for an Xbox One version, so they made it only for the PS3, PS4, and Steam, and those are crossplay interconnected.
Well, hopefully the PC version will be related. Speaking of which, though, I know that PC is definitely a lot more friendly with PlayStation, especially with the fact that as of sometime soon, we'll be able to actually play PlayStation 3 games on PC. Since the... I mean, that's actually a thing, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
I'm guessing it's using the PlayStation Now. So
There you go, Master Race. You can finally play The Last of Us on PC. Are you happy?
Wait, Master Race?
The PC Master Race.
Yeah, it's a saying.
There's been a constantly common joke about the fact that the PC Master Race could not play things like The Last of Us because it was obviously a Sony exclusive.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, really looking forward to finding out more about Infinite. But yes, I'm so glad that my favorite Mega Man iteration got in.
Mega Man X, yeah. And obviously, as a person who actually recorded this game, I really want Asura in it. You will see later on with one of the DLCs, but believe me, he really fits into the fighting genre.
I'd like X more if in every single game he doesn't keep banging on about why must we fight?
Well, okay.
Not like this.
To be fair, it didn't really get that bad until like around X6. Yeah. X7 actually, yeah.
And that's funny because basically Inafune actually wanted to stop with Mega Man X5, but Capcom actually, well, more also on X6. Okay, let's be fair.
I thought he wanted to end on X4. Oh wait, yeah. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, you're right. He wanted to end on X5, but yeah, I mean, like, well, I'll be quite honest though. Mega Man X8 got things back on track.
You know what's funny about X6? You know what's funny about X6?
Mm-hmm.
It's like another thing that has 6 kind of in the title, because then it has a good soundtrack.
Yep.
It's raping time.
And to be honest, X6 is the only Mega Man X soundtrack I can...
I have underestimated the power of your wrath.
Almost
You
roll
think?
credits.
Almost.
Why didn't you just snap his neck earlier, you... Ugh.
Well, to be fair,
Maybe-
they've already killed him twice.
Maybe the sequel will be called Azura's Calmness.
And let's be quite honest, Wibbs. Let's be quite honest, imagine if he tried snapping his neck, but it didn't work, it just made him more angry.
What about Asura?
Remember, killing 2-time Asura didn't work.
The sequel is going to
So
be...
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, Deus is now in merging himself with the entirety of the Barmastra fortress. Basically,
So
he wants
wait,
to control it by directly from the inside.
that's one way to guarantee peace, apparently.
Yeah, repent, motherfucker.
So, okay, if he's in control of it, can we go home now?
No.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing. The morality of Deus, yes, it was questionable and horrible because he killed so many people, but he still, in the end, wants to defeat Mithra. You know, that giant thing that pops out of the earth. So, but no, Asura and Yascha just wants to bomb rush and kill him.
Yeah, I mean, now that he's accomplished his goal.
Deus.
Yeah, you'd think that they would just let him try his goal. That is, unless Earth is in the crossroads, in which case, yeah, you may want to stop that.
So yeah, basically in the next episode we're gonna challenge. If you're a fan of Kingdom Hearts 2, you will having a lot of flashbacks in the next episodes. Believe me.
Asura's Wrath
Is looking right into your soul.
Well, let's look forward to the sequel, Azura's Calmness, where it will be Azura going to anger management sessions.
Can we call it?
Yes.
Can we call it Azura's Solace?
Sure, Azura's Solace.
That way we can. That way, hopefully, something with the word solace in the title doesn't suck.
We can't miss.
That's
Well,
positive speaking.
well, considering how big that thing is, it will be kind of weird to miss.
Yeah, I mean, the only way you'd miss it if I were playing this game.
Alright, let's see if this is familiar. Yascha will now pilot this lone wolf,
Wow.
and Asura will
Azura?
stand on it and use his
Wait.
fist to punch in range.
It's like Sonic and
Remind
Tails.
me-
It's like when Sonic and Tails are on the tornado.
Hold on, you'll see. Hold on, you'll see in a second what they talk about. And yes, that's part of Yasha's theme, which is still awesome.
Yeah.
Dun,
It sounds like a
dun, 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 dun,
You know,
dun,
funny
dun.
enough, it actually sounds like a track from Sonic 06.
Alright.
Alright, there you go. You're in a vehicle and you have a shooting section with two friends like that. One themed with blue and one themed with red. I wonder where I saw this.
Let's see. So many voices, but yeah, Sora and Riku.
Yeah, but this
Eh,
is literally the fight against the dragon nobody.
I don't know. I don't know too. I actually, it reminds me more of the tornado stages from Sonic Adventure 1, honestly.
Well, that's the thing. Asura doesn't have a lot of mobility here. He can only shoot.
Well,
There we go. Basically, now you have to take down basically just the ship. It's actually really easy, and then proceed to the next wave, or to the Bamastra. And yes, more recycled voice clips.
Those suites just come
Again, it's worth mentioning, especially in this period where voice actors are on strike against certain companies, that Liam O'Brien, while recording his lines, actually got throat burnings multiple times. Poor guy.
Yeah, I can see why some voice actors in the game industry, well, in any industry, would kind of want more respect. considering
Surprisingly
the
enough, we're
determination that
mostly
goes
against
into it.
Western companies. Basically, they're mostly against Activision, EA, and Ubisoft, ironically enough.
I wonder why.
Again, the only thing I don't really agree with is the whole we want X amount if a game sells X amount.
I know, Waves, I know. Everyone is agreeing with that.
Because since when has a voice cast ever been a major selling point in a video game?
Quite a few times actually, but that's besides.
If that were the case, the Final Fantasy the sequels to 13 would have sold more than they did.
yeah.
Well,
True.
Well, Dwibs, I said it can sometimes be a component, but just because something's a component of how well something sells, look, no matter how good an actor, no matter how good a game or anything may be, word of mouth is king, and if that game does not live up to the hype, or if that game is overhyped, then it's either bound to sell well or fail, regardless of all the stuff. Like, seriously, there have been games or movies or anything that's had, like, the Dream Team on it, yet they either overperform or obviously sell because of, well, how they do in the end. However, what I'm saying, Dribbs, is that I do not... What I'm saying, Dribbs, is like, well, I agree with you about the whole, based on X sells, how much they would get paid. However, I will say, though, that there definitely can be a component of how well a game sells based on who's involved. Like, for instance, compare, like, a Naughty Dog title to, like, a Guerrilla Games title. I mean, really, when you hear the... Okay, like, well, honestly...
Yeah,
when you
before
hear the two
Horizon
companies-
Zero Dawn, the Killzone games did not sell that much. Even though they are well-known Sony IP.
So that's why I haven't heard much of that series recently.
Alright, so now the fleet has been completely pulverized by Asura. Nothing remains between them and the Varmastra. However...
You know, I just thought of something, Dwibs.
Huh, pretty
Yes.
nice toy, but I'm
The
sorry, but I
Repu-
have to break it.
Instead of sending in Anakin and Obi-Wan, they should have just sent Azura against the Resistance.
Resistant. Don't you mean the droids?
The droids, the clones, whatever.
There you go. He's literally gonna squash them between his hands.
I mean, could you imagine, Dwibs, if the Revenge of the Sith started out with Azura single-handedly punching every Sith ship?
CIS ship. Yeah, that the movie would have been over then.
Must go faster, must go
Well,
faster, must
yeah.
go faster.
Well, I would be okay with that.
Oh boy.
Isn't Revenge of the Sith the shortest prequel?
I
And yeah,
don't know.
yes, he actually says Messatsu.
This thing...
Since you don't know Dweebs, that's a reference to Street Fighter.
Oh, well, let's do it. Azura, get out of this one.
He,
Say
Yes.
open your mouth wide and say
Alright, let's see what the next interlude is. I forgot which one it is. Oh, it's Olga, so it's up to you, Jova.
Right.
Oh,
Septentrion. Basically, this is explaining what Olga is doing right now.
Sakra Den Van Indra Deus! I cannot believe I'm seeing it with my own eyes! It's magnificent! Not even the Colossi can compare to its power. By merging with the Karma Fortress, it has become the most powerful being in existence!
Okay.
Goma Viltra with the use of the priestess power and 7 trillion souls we have accumulated.
Who's Kakabosh?
Dweebs, you'll be one of the servants, I guess.
Perhaps, if it was just a Bamustra. And now that Lord Deus has merged with the Karma Fortress, he can concentrate the blast with great precision. Sakra Devanam Idra Deus is invincible!
Deus. Once the commander...
So yeah, next episode we actually get through the entirety of the Karma Fortress and actually get to the final battle with Deus.
Self-proclaimed god
And actually get back Mithra.
His reign of terror ends now.
Right
Spoilers.
now.
Does it?
spoilers.
We'll see. See you for the next episode.
See you, everybody.
Yeah.
See ya.